the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy Classic Christmas Cup. Luke Etheridge here alongside Kieran.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be in this one. My first race at the Classic Christmas Cup, Luke. You were here last time out, so give us a rundown of what happened.
The rundown of what happened at Silverstone was a very interesting race, quite a long challenge. It might only be 25%, but in these very high-powered cars with a lot less downforce than the modern Formula One cars, there were many battles throughout the field. And after that race, with the championship standings, Lee Findlay has the current championship lead, 74 points at the moment. Carl Alex just 7 points behind, and Flying Finn a further 5 points behind. Slightly different scoring system to the modern F1 championships, of course. In this, it is 45 points for the win. So with 3 races to go, it is all still to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. And tonight we're racing in the McLaren MP4-13s at the legendary Japanese Grand Prix circuit, as driven by Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard, designed by Adrian Newey, the legend himself. It led McLaren to 9 wins in 16 races, 12 pole positions and 9 fastest laps, helping McLaren get to the Constructors' Championship in 1998 and also helping Mika Hakkinen win his first Drivers' Championship back in 1998. It's a great car to drive, Luke, and we were trying it about half an hour before the stream. It's not the easiest car in the world to drive.
No. Definitely a lot more challenging than a modern Formula One car. Grooved tyres being perhaps the most visible difference apart from the halo. A lot less grip available around the corners, a lot less downforce than a modern Formula One car, but you still have huge amounts of power from the 3-litre V10 Mercedes engine. And that Mercedes engine was very powerful even 20 years ago, wasn't it, Kieran?
Yeah, 708 brake horsepower. Yeah, a lot of power. Let's just say that for such a light car as well. Remember, there's only 6 gears in this car. The whole length of the car is around I think it's 4,550 millimeters. Put that into something I don't know, but it weighs around 600 kilos, which is 400 kilos less than what the modern Formula One cars weigh today.
Yeah, it just goes to show what an engineering achievement modern Formula One cars are, that they're still able to go faster than any other time in Formula One history, despite being possibly the heaviest that they've ever been. So what do you think could
No,
be the action zones for this race then?
Well, action zones. Not many overtaking opportunities at the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm expecting turn 11, the hairpin, to be a big action zone, as well as if anybody's willing to go side by side through 130R, that left-handed corner. You've also got the Casio triangle of turn 16 and 17, that right left-hander. You can try and go up the inside, but it puts you on the outside of turn 17 and puts you over that horrid bump going into turn 18. You get that bump all wrong and you're going around, as I found out many times testing the car, as Luke found out through my frustration.
I didn't even make it to the bump. I'd lost the car long before the bump.
What, you only did 1 lap? I did about 50 and I lost the car about 45 times.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere I could lose the car, I lost it. And that's why I'm commentating and not racing.
Yeah, that's a good reason. 38.0 I managed in that car, so expect the guys here to go a lot faster than me, that's for sure.
Yeah, we should be finding out any minute now. It is a reverse grid from the championship standings for this race, and then it will be 13 laps. So expect to see the faster guys like Lee, Alex and Flying Finn try and work their way up through the field. But as Kieran has mentioned, you're going to have to be patient. There is not a lot of overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for choosing the PS4 stream tonight. And it should be a good one. 20 drivers all ready to go. All in the same car, obviously. We're just waiting for the last few drivers to pick their cars, and hopefully, Luke, we'll be good to go. Japanese Grand Prix then, as we say, most of the drivers love it here, and if you're on a controller, you're automatically at that disadvantage, especially going through the S section of turns 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. On a wheel, I found, Luke, it's nice and smooth. You're able to keep control of the car very nicely as you go in towards the Degners. A couple of places you can lose the car if you're not careful going into turn 2. you can easily go onto the curb on the left-hand side, and the back end will drop from you. Going uphill towards turn 7, you run too wide. Again, you're going to lose the back end. Lots of places, Luke, where you can lose the back end of this car, and that's all down to the groove tyres, as you were saying before the stream.
Yeah, groove tyres were introduced into Formula 1 in 1998 as a way to try and slow the cars down, but they were removed 10 years later after those in charge decided they hadn't quite had the desired effect. Engineers are very clever people. They will always try and find a way around it. Were you a fan of the groove tyres or not, or were you indifferent to them?
I think I prefer the soft tyres. I prefer the soft tyres anyway. I prefer the slick tyres. They provide a lot more grip, and I think I prefer. If I were to choose, I think I'd choose this year's car rather than the car 20 years ago. But it was a treat to drive it. Like you said, Luke, I'm much more safe and much more comfortable in the commentary box.
A treat to listen to as well. That's probably the big difference that they will notice from those who've been watching the regular streams. The sound that comes from these cars.
Well, the sound will be even more amazing come Sunday, that's for sure.
Yeah, Sunday it is the 4th round of this, the penultimate round, and that will be in the Ferrari F2004, one of the most successful Formula 1 cars of all time around Monza, before we finish the Christmas Cup in early January around Brazil in the Brawn. So 3 other championship winning cars to go, including today, and just over 10 seconds before the session begins. It should be a good one.
A lot of people in this chat saying that they don't like this car. Casper, Katz in the chat. B Colt says this is the worst car in the game. He says the Lotus 72 feels better. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I think it's, as we mentioned, it's an era of F1 where they're trying to slow everything down to make it harder for the drivers to go as fast through the corners, because that's where they felt the dangerous parts of the track were. Of course, it's only 4 years after the death of Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna when these cars came out, so safety was definitely at the forefront of everyone's mind, and it's going to be even harder because it's raining.
Oh, it is absolutely. Well, it's not chucking it down. There is a bit of light rain. So there's a little bit of blue sky you can see at the top there. So hopefully, maybe the rain will clear over 13 laps. You never know. But those wet tyres. So you were saying to me, Luke, before the stream, could it be a one-stop? Well, not or even a no-stop if it's in the rain.
If it's in the rain, everyone should be trying to get through this race without any stops, of course. But if it stops raining at any point, it could be whoever just changes onto the slicks at just the right time.
Yeah, and of course with these classic cars, there's only one really wet tyre to choose from, and that's just the wet tyre. So it'll be interesting to see how these cars get on, how they're going on out there. And you can see Francis almost losing the car from the very start, almost just about kept it under control. We've actually got a car in the wall in the background. I'm not quite sure who it is, but yeah, as you can see, that's why, because people are actually starting the race on dry tyres. Well, that is a huge call.
They may have... It is fairly light, the rain, but I don't know whether dry tyres are going to be the right choice. They weren't really... Of course, within this era of F1, there was still dry, intermediate and wet tyres, so I feel like they'd go for the intermediates if they were available. But like you've said, it's dry or wet. You haven't really got a choice.
Luckily for them, these are the groove tyres, so they will provide at least some grip in these conditions, but not a lot. It's better than the slick tyres. You can see Francis can't even get full power around this track as I'm watching him go round. Trying to go full power in one of these cars on, well, groove tyres, I would say slick tyres, but they're not. It's going to be even more difficult to do. I'm looking forward to this race now.
We'll have a look at NUFC's view, because he's got a view of Francis up ahead trying to warm his tyres. The grooves, as you mentioned, will make it slightly easier, and they do provide a bit more movement as...
Well, as you say that, NUFC finds himself into the wall.
There was a bit too much tyre movement there.
And he's off again. He's off again. I think the rain's actually getting heavier. I can't quite tell, but I think the rain's getting heavier.
Could we see some... Could some drivers dive into the pits instantly just to get onto the wet tyres?
Well, this could be a huge conundrum for them. Who's going to do the Marcus Winkelhock move and pull in on the formation lap? It's not possible, but I would love to see someone try.
Yeah, I'd give it a go. I'd probably get disqualified, but it's always worth a shot. Go big or go home.
I love those words as we come round towards the Casio Triangle. We've got Lee Finley. Where is he? Starting 16th place. Championship leader. Here behind him is Alex, of course, reverse championship standings. Means that Francis finds herself at the front. Predictions, send them in the chat and we'll try and say them in the stream. Rachel Williams says, this is like watching a... Actually, I'm not going to continue with that one. But as we make our way back towards the grid then, a couple of drivers find themselves automatically back to the grid as Francis makes his way to the first grid position. Watch out for Lee Finley in P16 as he's looking to try and get his way through the field. Watch out for Flying Finn as well. Third in the championship, and let's see what he can do going in towards turn 1 and 2. No real braking zone, but I'm looking forward to this Christmas Classic Cup as we make our way towards those 5 red lights. Here we go then for round 3 of the Classic Christmas Cup. Round 3 is underway, and what are the starts like? Lots of wheel spin from the line. You can see someone just pulling over to the side there. I think that's B-Colt, and I think he said in the stream that he said, screw this, I'm going home. As he has done, he's retired from the session then. Francis leads going into turn 1, and we've got games there. Pedro, Robin, Bankai Bullet. Flying Finn has made an absolutely flying start. He's up to P6 already, and you can see the whole gaggle of cars behind him as they all try and find some grip out there. We've got Lee Finley up towards P10 as NUFC has a bit of trouble with Frandy there. As we head through the next section, we've got Schnitzel. 5-second stop-go penalty for cutting the corner, as that's Davidos going off, and he's retired from the session. And a load of cars back here out of the race, as that's Davidos, Casper, and Dan the Snake. Dan the Snake's gone around. Horrible conditions right now. Francis has just about kept it on the track. Games is in second, Pedro third, Flying Finn fourth, Banko Bullet fifth, Robin in sixth, Jake in seventh, Lee Finley eighth, as he makes contact there with, I think that was Lee Finley comes into contact with the 7th place driver. We've got yellow flags there. Now, I wonder if that's Sean or NUFC. Lots of battling going on here as Lee Finley and Jake are battling side by side on the exit of the hairpin then as they make their way through. And that's a big loss of grip for Lee Finley there. He's just about able to keep it under control. And, well, it's absolutely manic, Luke, that these guys are still trying to lap around this circuit on dry tyres. As the car's gone off there. Is that Robin?
Robin's
P12? Yes, it is.
You see on board with Lee Finley trying to put the power down, and from this Mercedes engine he's managed to get past Nick, so you don't want to be going side by side in 130R in these conditions. Flying Finn's already got himself up to 3rd position as Finley's off around 130R. He wouldn't have been able to do that in the 90s with a massive gravel trap that used to be there, but at the end of lap 1 it's Francis leading. Pedro is out to 2nd as JR Games drops back. He may have had a problem on the straight getting the power down out of the chicane. I know we suffered that while we were practicing earlier on. Bankai Bullet up to 4th, Games down to 5th, and then Jake, Nexus, Lee Finley, Schnitzel and Alex rounding out the top 10.
NUFC has come in. Now, I wonder if they're thinking of going on some wet tyres. It's sort of the in-between here, but Flying Finn is absolutely flying that. They're currently in 3rd place, and is that Robin off again? Yes, it is. Now, where's Robin gone off? That's on the exit of turn 2. Lots of drivers struggling in these conditions. And B-Colt said in the chat, a shock gearbox failure. Absolutely heartbreaking for him.
Well, cars were less reliable back then. And you're right, yeah. NUFC has gone for the wet tyres, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of lap times it can do. Just to point out, Francis has absolutely stormed away from the rest of the field. He's 4 seconds clear already.
Massive pile up behind. That was Jake there in 11th place. Luckily he ghosted though. I thought that was going to be a pile up, but he lost the car on the exit of Degna 2. He's currently in the middle of the track there. I should say Francis is sort of bombing away here, but he has a 5-second stop-go penalty for exceeding track limits, so that's probably why he's putting that pedal all the way down as far as it can go. Here comes Sean then, trying to go around the outside, up the inside of Spoon Curve. Can he keep the car planted on the track? I think he just about can as he makes his way through towards 130R. Lots of yellow flags, and is that Pedro being passed by Flying Finn through 130R? Pedro's going to have a look around the outside as we head through to the Casio Triangle, through turn 17 now, and then on the exit here, turn 18, there's a horrible bump here. Got to watch out on the exit as Francis sets the fastest lap of the race, a 150.3, as that Pedro will look in the slipstream here, and Jake is out of the race then, as we'll have to wait and see how he got on, and just not a lot of grip. We'll have to keep an eye. Schnicksel's lost it just at the pit lane entrance. There is too much going on here, Jake. I can't keep up. And Robin has a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. This rain has just caught everybody out, and everybody's on some dry tyres. Just keep an eye on NUFC as Robin enters the pit lane.
Yeah, expect to see quite a few more change to the wet tyres. Even if they're not faster, they'll just feel a bit more stable in these conditions. Flying Finn will be hoping he can keep this up. He's beginning to pull away from Pedro and close the gap to Francis. But as Kieran's mentioned, already has a 5-second penalty. Does the leader. Yellow flags again in Sector 1. Expect that to be a common feature over the remaining 11 laps. So there's some battles throughout the field. JR Gamer is close to Bankai Bullet as we see Pedro take a very interesting line there through that corner, trying to find the grip, although that has made him pretty vulnerable to the battle behind so far. Gonna go
yellow flags in Sector 2. Sorry, you were saying, Jake?
Just going on board now with games, seeing how we can cope around here. So careful on the throttle. Making sure not to accelerate on these curbs could quite easily spear yourself up towards the wall.
Although, let's see that Robin actually came into the pits and came back out on a set of dry tyres. He had the opportunity to go in and put on a set of wet tyres, but decided against it. NUFC at the moment, currently 12 seconds back. Watch that gap towards him and Robin. You can see the spray come up from his car. So there is definitely water on the track as we've got Pedro. Pedro's out of the race. He's lost it on the...
Pedro's out of the race.
Lost it on the pit.
Yeah. Has he collided with Bankai? Because Bankai's dropped back as well, and that's given so much going on here. Findley's managed to make his way up to 4th place. Bankai Bullet's back in 3rd.
But he's run wide on the exit of turn 1 there, just trying to find some grip, and he was in 2nd. Now he's back down to 5th. Now it could be 6th place. This is absolutely crazy out there. I think Pedro lost it, as you were saying, on the pit lane entrance. Bankai Bullet here, well, it's dropping back so much. Actually, you know what? He's got front wing damage on that right-hand side. That's why he's struggling. Maybe he collided with Pedro there, and that's why he's losing so much ground here with that front wing damage. That's why, as Francis is into the wall, and he's out of the race. Oh, he's lost it on the XF Degma 2, and Flying Finn now takes the lead into the hairpin. And I wonder, Jake, how many we're going to finish with here.
We know there's quite a different point scoring system here, but just staying on the track should be worth an extra 10 points in these conditions. It's absolutely dreadful out there at the moment as they try and find the grip. Rain doesn't seem to be getting any heavier. JR Games, he's for another retirement from the session as well.
I reckon some people might just be packing up and saying goodbye till the next race, but whoever is out there, they must be having a lot of fun. If you can actually keep it facing forward in the right direction, you've got a good chance of scoring some decent points to help you throughout the season. Running on board then with Alex here as he chases down Crow Nexus as we head towards 130R in that slipstream. Here we go then. Is he going to try and move then? No, he backs out of it. And you actually have to brake going into 130R in these conditions. But you can see Alex right on the gearbox of Crow Nexus then as we head towards the Casio Triangle. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2, but you can see there Alex trying to go around the outside of Crow Nexus, coming towards the final corner in towards turn 18. Has he got the inside line? He loses that back end very slightly, and they've both lost the back end actually. But Alex has somehow got the better exit and has got the run on Crow Nexus. Alex makes the move up onto the last step of the podium. Watch out for Sean there, who's looking at the both of them going through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Bankai Bullet, as you mentioned, he's had front wing damage, so he's had to pit. Will he come out on the wet tyres? NUFC doesn't seem to be gaining any way through the field, just from retirements at the moment, so I don't think it was the right decision. Well, that could all change.
Well, by the way, NUFC on the wet tyres is now up to P13. He's not really gaining on Robin though, so this is the problem. You need a tyre that's in between the intermediates. They would be the perfect tyre for these conditions. Unfortunately, the drivers don't have that.
Yeah, although as you mentioned, just staying on the track's going to be an achievement. I feel it'll be more comfortable for NUFC on the wets than it is for the rest of the field on the dries. Big Prenter getting himself a 3-second penalty. Expect to see a lot more of them coming up throughout the race. This battle's still going on.
Well, Flying Finn, by the way, 11.5 seconds up the road from Lee Findlay, the championship leader. So he's very comfortable in these conditions. as the sky looks like it's opening up, Jake. We might get a little bit less rain as we head through the race here, almost at half distance.
Yeah, already the top 4 in the championship occupy the top 4 places. Despite starting at the back of the field, it doesn't seem to have stopped them in these conditions. See Sean trying to go round the outside of 130R there. I think Nexus saw that was coming and made the right decision just to back out a bit.
Yeah, I think for everybody's benefit, he's pulled out of that one as we're down to 13 runners on board with Pro Nexus. Then I've got a great camera angle here, just on the airbox here as we head down the main straight towards turn 1. And it's calmed down a little bit now as we head towards half distance. Flying Finn in the lead, Lee Findlay second, Alex is in third, Sean is in fourth, Pro Nexus fifth, Brenta in sixth, Randy seventh, Schnitzel eighth, Bankai Bullet 9th, Alex in 10th, Casper 11th, Robin in 12th, and NUFC is in 13th place.
As you mentioned, all settling down, the drivers beginning to get used to the conditions, getting used to the cars, different from what they'd normally drive in. And just as the field spreads out, there's less carnage, less drivers to avoid spinning across the track, because I feel like that could have caught a lot out in these early stages.
Absolutely. I think the rain has died down just a little bit, but not too much. Not so much that the track will dry out, so everybody's sticking on these dry tyres, and I wonder if people are going to actually have to stop. Because obviously Alex has had a tank slapper there, and he's into the wall, lost a huge chunk of front wing there, and he's now down to 5th, and that's going to be a trip to the pit lane as now he rejoins. That's Brenta trying to go around the outside of him as they head through turn 12, and he's got the position up then as, well, yeah, Brenta here. Does Brenta have front wing damage? I'm trying to have a look. I think he does. Brenta has front wing damage as well, so I wonder if the drivers are just sort of thinking, well, we might as well stay out if we've got that damage.
Yeah, see if it's worth staying out, especially if the rain got any heavier. Maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone, get it done then as well. I believe that's absolutely. NUFC ahead who's getting lapped.
Yeah, he's 46 seconds down. He's actually taken to the escape road to get out of the way. But he does have that front wing damage. He's got to be careful because if he stays there too long, he stays stationary for too long, he will actually get disqualified. So he's got to be careful of that then. Lap 7, over half distance. And Flying Finn leads by 13.9 in these very, very tricky conditions. It's been a great drive from Flying Finn so far today.
Yeah, it's just slowly pulling away the gap from Lee Finley. He's built it up to 14 seconds now to go on board. It's kind of fitting that Flying Finn is doing the job around Suzuka in this car.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Frandy here trying to go around the outside of the stricken Alex. Going through turn number 5, turn 6, as we head up the hill towards turn 7. You can see they're very nervous on the throttle, but Frandy does have the inside line. It becomes the outside for the Degners, and it looks like Alex has just let him go there, but Frandy does run a little wide. He's able to keep control of the car though, and up to P6 he goes.
I think it was inevitable that Alex was going to struggle with such a track that's dependent on downforce, especially around the S's. That missing front wing is going to cost him so much time through that section, but as it is such a short race, it perhaps isn't worth pitting. He has got a 23-second gap to the next car at the moment. And
Alex here, as Alex 20 we should say, differentiate between the Alexes has had an off in the first couple of corners. He's in 11th place for now, 3.1 behind Casper. As Flying Finn on lap number 8, 147.4, as the rain still is chucking it down as I get a great camera angle going through turns 1 and 2. That sweeping camera angle that just stays on the gravel trap. That's a great shot. Always love that shot. As Flying Finn, just nearly touches the grass there as he heads in the entrance of turn number 3. Very lucky to get away with that one. He is leading right now. Miroslavi in the chat says, is it Hakkinen who's leading? Yeah, why not? Right, it's a Flying Finn in the lead. As that's Frandy around in the final corner. He's doing a couple of donuts, I think. Yep. As he tries to rejoin the track. And I'll put it this way, he spun off the track in 6th place. He's rejoined in 7th. That is how difficult it is out there.
Yeah, will he be able to catch up? Just 6 laps remaining now. Flying Finn comfortable, 15.4 seconds ahead. seems to have spread out as well, the battle for the final podium slot as well. Sean pulling away slightly from Nexus and doing a good job to stay within a couple of seconds of Lee Findlay, who would retain the championship lead as it stands going into the next race, which will be on Sunday at Monza in the Ferrari F2004.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. We still have it all to play for here, as Lee Findlay in second place, just trying to negotiate the spoon as best he possibly can in these very, very tricky conditions. The rain has pretty much stayed as you were throughout the entire race, but with those dry tyres, it's always been difficult to keep control of the car. We've got yellow flags in sector 3, but I'm not entirely sure who that was. The problem is now they're all so spaced out that when the yellow flag does come out, you don't know who or where it is.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was going to be a flying Finn, because we knew he was near the end of the lap, but that fastest lap at the bottom of the screen seems to prove that he's still having no trouble around this track.
Yeah, absolutely. And Flying Finn here just making it look really, really easy, as he's now 15.5 seconds up the road with 5 laps to go. Just cruising through now. Probably one of the closest battles on the track is between Lee Findlay and Sean. The battle for second place, 2.2 separates them.
Flying Finn there getting a wheel on the grass at the exit of the S's. That could have very easily ended badly. He's managed to save it though as he's negotiated his way through the lap traffic.
Well, that's someone off there. That is Alex 20, who's off the track. And he's got a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. And that is just before the Degners. Very harsh to award that, because he was going across the gravel. But, well, the stewards have had their say.
You see Sean as well getting a bit pretty sideways as well as they put the power on, even in the higher gears. So much torque coming from this car, and with low grip tyres, low grip track surface, it's all coming together for a very, very difficult job for the 13 drivers that are remaining here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather them than me, to be honest with you, Jake. Jake? Who are you again?
Let's go with it. Like, we've had a
Jake,
lot of
Luke, whatever.
There's a lot of Christmas food being eaten. We're all a bit confused. What day of the week it is even?
4 laps to go then. As Flying Finn sets the fast lap of the race, 1:47.1. As we've got yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. I'm looking at Bankai here as he's trying to close in on Schnitzel. Schnitzel here lost it just slightly going into the hairpin. You can see Bankai there goes cleanly round the outside and takes the position away. He's up now to P8.
Beautifully played the cut back there, Bankai. Went around the outside, straight in the corner up to try and ensure he had more grip on the exit. And that's enough to put him up to 8th place, where you'd expect him to stay, barring any accidents up ahead. We have seen plenty of those already.
Absolutely. But no drama involving Flying Finn. He managed to get all the way up to P6 from P16 on the grid. As Bankai and Bankai and Schnitzel here coming into the Casio triangle towards that final corner where that horrible, horrible bump is. Just on the inside there. Both negotiated though, as Bankai goes a little bit wide onto the grass, opens up an opportunity for Schnitzel to go down the main straight. Of course, no DRS. We're back to classic times as we head down towards the first 2 corners, and Schnitzel gets ahead. Will he run a little bit wide? Yes, he does. Bankai Bullet's going to go up the inside in towards turn 2 as we make our way towards the S's now. Going into turn 3, Bankai Bullet has to go around the outside, and Schnitzel slams the door shut, runs a little bit deep in towards turn 4, but he's got the optimum line for turn 5, and Schnitzel then gets that position back.
Yeah, great defending there by Schnitzel, and managed to just about hold on fairly through the S's. You'd expect the next passing place to be the hairpin if Bankai can get close enough, but he's lost it a bit on the exit, and Schnitzel should be able to breathe easily for a bit now.
Absolutely. Well, Flying Finn starts the 11th lap of this race in very tricky conditions, if we haven't said that already. As we've got yellow flags in sector 2, but couldn't quite see who that was then.
Yeah, NUFC's
Flying Finn
pitted again. He's not enjoying himself.
Oh, as Alex 20's lost it big style. Spinning and spinning as he heads through Spoon there. He's lost that just on the entry of turn 14. I think he lost it originally on the exit of turn 13. Carried it on, why not? As Schnitzel and Bankai Bullet come towards the instant zone. Of course, they're under yellow flags. Now they're not. to make their way across turn 14. I would say out of turn 13, but they're sort of going sideways, so I sort of have to say across.
Yeah. we know they like the drifting in Japan, and we are seeing plenty of that today. And Bankai's got a much better exit out of 130R than Stixel. He's just not able to do it into the chicane, but can he hold it off? Stixel tries to defend to make sure he has the inside for turn 1. Bankai's all over the place. They come on now to their 11th lap of the race. Stixel going defensive when he's not really got the need to, because I feel like he's got it covered this time around.
Absolutely, he's just got to keep it out of that green AstroTurf on the outside on the exit of turn 1, and he's done exactly that this time, so he's able to keep control of that car a lot more as we head through turn 3, then 4, then it'll be 5 at 6 and 7, but Stixel looks like the back end just wanted to snap on him there on the exit of turn 5. As they head through turn 6 now, you can see Bankai trying to use the curve, very brave to use the curve in these conditions. As they head up the hill through turn 7, you can see Bankai's car just not really wanting to stay planted in these conditions, as Flying Finn sets yet another flying lap in these conditions, making the one-stop work for him. We've also got to keep an eye on Lee Finley and Sean there. The battle for second place could be heating up in these final 2 laps.
Yeah, one of the big challenges for these drivers in this series is, of course, no custom setups allowed. They have to use one of the presets. So you've just got to find something that suits your driving style the best you can, not able to fine-tune it as much as they would like, especially in these tough conditions.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've driven some of those custom setups there, Luke. It was tough in the dry, let alone the wet.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how I think this many cars have managed to keep going throughout this race and not just given up.
Unlike B-Colt at the start, who's just like,
yeah.
See you later, guys. I'll see you Sunday.
An unfortunate gearbox failure.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we're calling it. That's right. Yeah. Unfortunate gearbox failure. What a shame.
I mean, we weren't in B-Colt's car. We can't prove otherwise.
No, we cannot. We know the gearbox was there. We can't guarantee that it wasn't working.
We're not in Lee Findley's car either at the moment, but Sean is all in his mirrors at the moment. He's got it down to less than half a second. This could be a very interesting battle for second place. There's just 1 and a bit laps to go now for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. As we head through turn 14, you can see Sean trying to take a tighter line. He might struggle for grip on the exit though, as he now heads into the slipstream towards 130R in turn 15. Sean's surely not going to try and move around the inside. He might try and move around the outside, though. That is where the grip is in karting. You're taught that from the very beginning. And Sean tried to make the move around the outside. He might get the inside line in towards the Casio triangle. 2 McLarens going through there. Didn't end well all those years ago, but it somehow ended okay now as Lee Finley holds on to second place. Sean still in third as they head on to the final lap of the race. They're both 20 seconds off Flying Finn, the leader of this one. Here comes Sean then in the slipstream as we head down towards turn 1. Lee Finley goes defensive. Sean trying to go around the outside in towards turn 1 as the rain has finally stopped. All a bit too late for Sean though. He loses that back end through turn 2 as we head now through towards turn 3, and Sean gets the move done. What a battle between those two, and Sean wraps it up really well there.
Yeah, they should be finding it a bit better now. Flying Finns set the fastest lap, 1:44, 6 seconds faster than what they were managing at the start of the race, just to show how much the conditions have improved now.
Absolutely, as Flying Finn now heads through turn 12 towards the Spoon Curve for the final time in the Classic Christmas Cup. He heads through now towards turn 14 and then down the hill, makes his way towards 130R for the final time. He's made it look really, really easy. They all started on dry tyres when we all thought they should have been on the wets, but proved us totally wrong. Flying Finn then making his way through 130R for the final time towards the Casio triangle and in towards turn 16 and 17. As he makes his way through turn 18, Flying Finn comes around the final corner, power slides it home. He's going to win the Japanese Grand Prix with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:41.3. Great job from the Flying Finn then, as Sean and Lee Finley battling till the very end. A magnificent move from Sean going in towards turn 1 there, sealed the deal, and as Sean makes his way around the final corner, Sean will take second place in this race. Lee Finley will feel a bit hard done by with third place, only 3 tenths in it, but that wraps up your podium for the Classic Christmas Cup.
And with results the way they are at the moment, that puts Lee Finley now only 1 point ahead of Flying Finn in the championship. It is still all to play for. Nexus has come across the line in 5th place. The main battle now we're watching is Schnitzel and Bankai for 8th and 9th positions. Feel like the Dutch driver in 8th has got this covered though.
Yeah, he's 8/10 up on Bankai there as we head towards the Casio Triangle for the final time. We've got Nexus in 4th, Brenta 5th, Alex 94 in 6th, Frandy in 7th, and Schnitzel will come across the line to finish in 8th place there, as Bankai will jump him because Schnitzel had a 5-second stop go that was unserved, so Bankai actually jumps him at the finish line. Only Casper and Alex 20 left to finish, and they're coming across the line right now, as I think that's Alex 20 trying to jump into the pits, but Casper sets the fastest lap of the race, so 140.466. He's able to take that away from him, from Flying Finn. But there you go, your winner of round 3 of the Classic Christmas Cup. It's Flying Finn.
Yeah, I'd ask who the driver of the day was, but I feel like that's a bit obvious at the moment. Flying Finn pretty much had it covered. From the first corner even, he'd already got himself up to 6th place and was on the podium positions after the first lap, and a well-deserved victory, round 3 of the Christmas Classic Cup.
NUFC 22 in the chat said, I cannot begin to tell you how awful that was. Bring on Italy.
Yes, indeed.
Let's hope the rain doesn't hit them there then this coming Sunday. The F2004s and the Italian Grand Prix. But as we wait now for the unofficial results, Flying Finn takes the win with Sean in 2nd, Lee in 3rd. We've got Crow Nexus in 4th, Printer in 5th, Alex 94 in 6th, Bandy in 7th, Bankai in 8th, Schnitzel in 9th, Casper in 10th, Robin in 11th, FAP, Alex 20 in 12th, NUFC, Games there, Francis, Pedro, Jake, Dan the Snake, Davidos and B Colt all not finishing this race.
The 3 of those retiring on the first lap in these tricky conditions. Nexus commented on the track that there was 0 grip out there. I think that was pretty obvious for everyone to see what a difficult job it must have been out there to just keep the car on track. Never mind concentrating on setting fast lap times and trying to catch up to those in front. Absolutely.
My game was overwhelmed there and it crashed. But never mind. It just crashed. Why not?
It's too much even for the game to handle that race, I think.
Oh, absolutely. that will definitely wrap it up there, I think, Luke.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Give everyone a bit of time to recover from a very challenging race. As Kieran has mentioned, we'll be back on Sunday with action from Monza in the Ferrari F2004. I believe that year in F1 it was wet around Monza, but I'm sure these guys will be doing, if there is an opposite of a rain dance, I'm sure they'll all be doing it, the sun dance. So we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Yes, take care of yourselves.